Our topic for session 4 is diverse collection for enhancing well-being. Our objectives are the following: gain practical skills in curating diverse resources that support well-being across various media. The second one is identify gap in current collections and explore effective strategies to address them. And finally, we hope to have an output at the end of the day, which is a development of an action plan to enhance collections for diverse student community. This session empowers educators and librarians to develop collections that reflect and support student well-being. Together, we will examine existing collections with a fresh perspective, identifying gaps, listening to the user's needs, and shaping practical strategies for improvement. Through hands-on activities and collaborative discussions, participants will walk away with ideas to make libraries or classrooms more inclusive and supportive. The section for the focus on what well-being means to your audience recognizes the significance of the stakeholders, the students, the teachers, and even the parents. In this specific aspect or in this specific example, to support the well-being of the teachers and the students, the librarians collaborate with them in selecting diverse resources. So we start holding a mini session or mini sessions where students and teachers share the well-being topics they need help with. These students are basically non-native speakers, mostly are non-native speakers that require or who require support to ensure the mental and emotional well-being is addressed through the library collections. So through these conversations, we're able to identify, or the library is able to identify, the key areas such as stress management or identity development or identity crisis or even cultural differences. So teachers here and students can also suggest the type of resources they feel would best support emotional and mental health. So they have a say. We really have to recognize their suggestions because first and foremost, maybe these collections are not found in the library, but they were able to find it somewhere and they want to bring it there back in the library, or they want to bring it in the library for other users also to read, and so that they can connect also with the other users in terms of their prior knowledge about the collection. So we record the topics, preferred formats, and curriculum connections. These are the things that the session is looking into. So once feedback is gathered from the stakeholders, we try to prioritize the needs and research suitable resources for them, be it in the form of multimedia, be it in the form of poster, books, or ebooks to that effect. So we pilot these resources in the classroom and in the library, and then gather feedback to refine the selection. Then we also have regular checkups to ensure that these resources continue to meet the evolving well-being, the well-being needs of the students, and also fostering the ongoing dialogue between all parties involved. Are these collections that are purchased or are recommended of the students functional enough to support others? Does it bring a positive impact to the emotional state, to the well-being, mental state, or even the social aspects of the students? The other strategy that we use in order to enhance the collections in the library, the diverse collection of the well-being resources, is through the use of wish list that is embedded in the digital library. So students are welcome to write their suggestion or their recommended books that are not present in the library. So this is where we can see the different feedback that the collections that they're having is not only just for diverse purposes, but it also gives insight on the deep relevance and impact in nurturing students' emotional growth and development. Not all the books, despite the fact that this is a wish list, not all the books will be approved for purchase. So we have to evaluate, the library staff will have to evaluate the book itself, the content of the book, what specific level it is suited for. And then, of course, we will have to consider also the price of the book. If it's not really that expensive, then we can purchase that one. If not, we can look for a book that is somehow having the same content in order to support the student who is requesting for this specific resources. The librarians are required, or it's a part of their duty, to attend the grade level meetings from grade 1 until grade 5 to ensure that the lessons that the teachers have inside the classroom are well supported in terms of the resources available in the library. In case that the resources are not available in the librarian has to be creative, has to do some research to support the resources. Online resources, they gather those links and then put it in a certain portal. We have what we call a Teams portal, wherein the discussion resources are also stored there. That is where the librarians are placing the resources per grade level, per unit of inquiry. So this is just one of the examples that you can see here. So how often do they do this? How often do the librarians ensure that the resources of the teachers are supported? This is done weekly. All possible resources that they can work on in order to support the teachers and the students. Experience wise, I consider collaboration and partnership as strong factors to enhance the diverse collection in school and in the library. So let me start with the collaboration with the parents. We have a good number of Korean kids. And one of the concerns that we have in the library is how can we purchase books that are suited for the level of the students, since the librarians are local Indonesians. So what we did in order to support the students is we basically collaborate with the Korean teacher. Korean teacher talks and communicate or discuss this matter with the Korean parents. And fortunately, Korean parents donated a good number of books to support their own children. These are chapter books, non-fiction books, story books, name it. They were able to support and they were able to provide. Now comes the problem, because we need to ensure that the books that are being borrowed by the students are properly documented in the library. So we reach out again to the students themselves or even to the Korean teacher, that during their break time or their recess time, they can visit in the library, read the book, and give a summary of the book so that the librarians or the local librarians are able to catalog the books. So this is the way, one of the collaborative aspect, such as parents partnership, teacher school parents partnership. is very, very helpful in enhancing or improving the collection, the diverse collections that we have. So parents, again, are our best assets to help us in terms of the collection, especially with the foreign books. We also have the counselors. Many students go to the counselors, especially if they experience some difficulties emotionally, socially, or even academically. So what we are doing is we sit down with the guidance counselor or even the well-being staff, and then we discuss with them what are the resources that you need in order that we can support further the development or the progress of the students that you're helping in terms of certain issues, mental, emotional, or even physical. So they give suggestions of the book, and basically these are resources, these are reference materials for them. And I think it's quite helpful because again, it helps enhance the collection, the diverse collection of the library and in the school in terms of references. The last one here that I would like to share is basically the vendors, the book vendors. They provide access to the current titles and trend. So we do not just rely on the researches that we are doing in terms of what are the trending sources at this time, but we connect with the vendors because they themselves they have relevant materials or well-being resources tailored to the students' needs, and they have a good number of collection. They have a catalog for this one, and their insights into popular and recommended titles help ensure thoughtful, intentional collection development in the library. So I can say that the collaboration and partnership between teachers, experts such as counselors, well-being staff, um, even external experts that we have, and the book vendors are very helpful to augment the collections in the library. We also make use of the survey. So, based on the survey data, we identify gaps in the current library resources and practices that need to be addressed to better support the students' needs. So, this is quite important. So, it's not only the resources. If you can see here, we also look at the services, the environment that we have. Are they attractive enough and pleasing enough and comfortable enough for all the users that we have, and also the services that the staff are giving, are they helpful, are they friendly uh, in serving the students. Despite the enhancement of books, the increased collections in the library and in the school, but we have also to keep in mind that collection should be fresh and evolving. Curation is an ongoing process. We keep on adding the resources, but we will have also to evaluate whether these resources are still relevant and applicable today. Resources that were used by the students last year may not be relevant this time. So in the library or in the school, we need to have the kind of adjustments. We have to be ready in order to support the community in terms of their academics, in terms of their mental state, in terms of their social state. As an output for session 4, we would like to encourage everyone to come up with an action plan on how you can enhance your own collection, focusing on well-being. Tonka will be giving out the template for the action plan, but please allow me to share something or explain a little bit further what is expected. So you can write your objective or objectives depending upon how you want to work it out. And then what is the current status of your school or your organization or your library? Are you encountering some challenges? Do we have a vast collection? So you can explain it in this specific part. Then identify gap. What specific gap or need have you identified based on your observation, based on the feedback of other individuals in your institution or in your school? Then, based on that information or based on that gap, what will be the specific action that you are going to take in order to address that gap? Do you need to have resources? Does do you need, for example, more budget in comparison to the current one that you're having? Do you need to have an access for the publication? You name whatever it is needed in your own action plan based on the current situation of your school. And the timeline. When will it take place? How long will it take place? So you can come up from there. And what is the expected outcome after you have this? An evaluation method. How will you assess whether you have been successful in the implementation of your action plan? What will be your measurement? Thank you.